Wasn't there some speculation that she was on Epstein's yacht at one point in time? There was like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s.
While the difficult Duchess carries on calling the shots, which in that weird one-sided marriage of theirs.
One post of hers had about 500 retweets, which I'm sure your Instagram would have even more of, and it led me to believe—
Oh, let me tell you something. Scandals come and go. Rumors, please, they flare up, fade, and people move on. Headlines, they're just noise you can usually outlast. But Meghan Markle's current storm, honey, this one's not going anywhere. Why? Because she's become the punchline of a late-night comedy show. And once you're reduced to a joke, that's not gossip anymore. That's branding. That's a stain on your reputation that clings tighter than glue.
The magazine Ingrid Stewart, who has been closer to the royals than any other journalist for more than 20 years. She told Fox News Digital,
You see, Meghan has been chased for years by whispers that her Hollywood climb wasn't as innocent as it looked. Let's be real. Her Suits role didn't exactly make her a household name. She wasn't the next Meryl Streep. Yet somehow, she was floating through luxury circles, rubbing shoulders with billionaires and producers when other actresses at her level were still begging for auditions. And that's where the infamous Yacht Girl rumors crept in.
that's what a lot of people are coming out and sort of leaking, is that she might be scrubbing the numbers a little bit, and her and Harry might be coming back cup in hand to the king.
And if Meghan Markle has a personal enemy list, trust me, Kirby Summers' name is right at the top. This woman didn't just toss shade, she dropped a whole bomb. Summers straight up claimed Meghan's rise wasn't squeaky clean at all. Oh no, she pulled back the curtain and painted an entirely different picture of Meghan's path to Hollywood.
of how the British people feel about the woman who caused his brothers at war ferocious feud with Harry. The flea in the ointment is very much Meghan.
According to Summers, Meghan wasn't just networking. Nope, she was allegedly yachting her way into opportunities. Can you imagine? Summers said the quiet part out loud, and ever since then the internet hasn't stopped buzzing.
Going broke.
Well, I mean, I do think that it's significant that we can't find her products in—
What made it sting even more? Summers wasn't coy, she wasn't careful. No allegedly, no maybe. She practically plastered a neon sign saying Meghan was a yacht girl. And that bluntness? That's why Meghan's team reportedly went into full-on panic mode. Rumors swirl all the time, but once someone with credibility connects the dots, oh, it sticks. Suddenly it's not a whisper, it's a debate.
She's disliked intensely by a large number of monarchists in this country.
And the way Summers did it? Honestly hilarious. No drama, no Hollywood theatrics. She delivered it calm, flat, like a boring professor reading off a lecture. And that dry delivery only made it hit harder, because when gossip starts sounding like fact, that's when it spreads like wildfire.
As if it wasn't a typical store like a Bevmo, which is, you know, like a liquor store here in the States, then Bevmo would be able to give us the statistics on how well it's—
See? Here's Meghan's nightmare. Someone like Summers adds weight to a rumor, and suddenly Meghan's iron grip on her own narrative slips, and Meghan is obsessed with controlling her story. Cue the frantic phone calls, the crisis meetings, Harry probably being told, "Zip it, I'll handle this." You know the drill.
Does in everything she does in the last 5 years, it's highly controlled so that she can try to direct the narrative and so that she can try to choreograph everything.
And let's not forget, Meghan has worn more personas than a seasoned actress. First, she was the hardworking underdog actress. Then, as Prince Harry's wife, she played the royal rebel, daring to challenge the monarchy. Then came Meghan the victim, the woman wronged by a cruel palace and press. And of course, Meghan the feminist icon, giving glossy speeches about empowerment. Every chapter, a different role.
Very damaging to the royal family. And also, I think a lot of people in America feel the same.
But here's where the cracks show. When the yacht girl chatter exploded, the contrast was brutal. Suddenly, those empowerment speeches, that feminist branding, it didn't look authentic anymore. It looked scripted, performed. The question became, was Meghan ever real? Or has every version of her been another costume?
And with the most recent wine drop, it hasn't sold out. And a Sussex source actually told News.
And that's exactly why Jon Stewart's jokes landed like a punch in the gut. He wasn't just being funny, he was exposing contradictions. Comedy thrives on calling out hypocrisy, and Meghan had given him a buffet of identities to pick apart.
Her husband's family and dissed her own family. It's just extraordinary to think that her children have not met their grandfather.
And the audience? They didn't need proof, no court documents, nothing. All they needed was recognition. Recognition of those inconsistencies they've seen for years. Stewart just turned them into sharp punchlines. And when people laughed, it wasn't just because it was funny, it was because it clicked.
Has been very pro-Sussex, so I'm not surprised that a Sussex source would talk to Newsweek.
That's Meghan's real problem. Every reinvention, every new face she puts on makes the last one look fake, like a costume you can peel off. And when the public starts sensing performance, they rarely forgive. Once the spell is broken, it's over.
Really is bizarre that Mother Meg has kept her heartbroken down.
And then the photos, the so-called yacht girl photos. Grainy, questionable, probably doctored, but did any of that matter? Number. The second Meghan's name trended next to Yacht Girl, the damage was done. Online perception is quicksand. The more you fight it, the faster you sink.
Biggest stock of product yet. Obviously trying to do everything we can to ensure as many people as possible can experience the product. So glad it hasn't sold out yet, which is classic Meghan too. Like, no, everything's working out.
Social media poured gasoline on the fire. Some swore the photos were real, claiming they had receipts. Others dismissed them as obvious fakes. But here's the ugly truth. In scandal culture, proof doesn't matter. Optics do. Just the debate alone was enough to plant the seed of doubt. And once planted, good luck ever pulling it out.
Lilibet. Nor, by the way, has Thomas Markle Sr. met his son-in-law. The sheer outlandishness.
Meghan spent years crafting an image of resilience, feminism, independence. The yacht girl whispers ripped all of that apart. Suddenly, her polished speeches and interviews didn't look powerful. They looked contrived, convenient, fake. And just when her team prayed it would die down, here comes Jon Stewart. He dragged the whispers out of online corners and shoved them into mainstream spotlight. What was niche gossip became late-night TV fodder, complete with applause. And in that moment, perception hardened. Rumors turned into cultural fact. When Jon Stewart decides to spotlight someone, it's never random. He doesn't just throw jokes around for fun. It's calculated, deliberate. Stewart has this razor-sharp ability to take a whisper and make it headline news with one single punchline. So the moment he waded into Meghan's yacht girl storm, the scandal jumped from internet gossip boards into the cultural mainstream. And once it's there, oh honey, there's no going back. His segment wasn't even relying on cheap shock value. No, it was his precision, the way he delivered each line with that sly grin, weaving those whispers into a comedy monologue that kept the audience glued. His jokes weren't just jokes, they were framing devices. He turned Meghan from a misunderstood royal into a character in a scandalous spectacle. And then came the killer line, that she was living a double life. A polished duchess by day and a social climber by night. The audience howled. It wasn't just funny, it carved out a narrative that stuck like glue. The damage? Irreversible. Because Stewart wasn't saying, I believe this. He was doing something far more dangerous. He was making it worth repeating. A joke on his stage is never just a laugh, it's an accelerant. What made it brutal is that Stewart transformed the scandal from questionable, grainy photos into undeniable ridicule. Tabloids? They can be brushed off. Gossip blogs? You can dismiss them. But a cultural heavyweight amplifying your name with a sharp punchline? That's deadly. Public laughter cuts deeper than accusations. Once people are laughing at you, you're done. And Meghan? She wasn't just mocked. She was rebranded. Overnight. From Duchess of Sussex to Yacht Girl Duchess. And let me tell you, in celebrity branding, ridicule lingers far longer than accusations. By the time her PR team even started to think of responses, memes had already flooded the internet, reshaping her narrative in real time. Within minutes of Stewart's joke, TikTok exploded. Editors were clipping, remixing, adding captions like wildfire. Twitter trolls had a field day, turning Yacht Girl Duchess into a trending hashtag alongside Stewart Roast. The memes? Brutal. Meghan photoshopped as Rose in Titanic, pointing out yachts instead of stars. Meghan in Wolf of Wall Street, champagne glass in hand. Even mock Disney posters titled The Princess and the Yacht. The creativity was merciless. And here's the cruel part. Once you're meme-ified, your narrative isn't yours anymore. Meghan's carefully polished image was shattered in seconds by jokes, captions, and looping edits. For her, this wasn't just another headline, it was a reputational earthquake. When a scandal gets denied, it can die. But when a scandal becomes funny, that's career kryptonite, because laughter doesn't go away. And let's talk about the weight of that label, Yacht Girl. On the surface, it sounds glamorous. Sparkling seas, champagne glasses, sunsets over the Riviera. But inside Hollywood? Oh, insiders know the darker translation. It's a coded phrase, a dirty little open secret. It's shorthand for women invited aboard billionaire yachts, not just for parties, but for company, for entertainment, for arrangements. So when Meghan gets slapped with that label, it's not just about being on a boat, it's about implication. It says her career wasn't built on talent or grit, but on transactional relationships with the ultra-rich. And for someone who has worked so hard to brand herself as independent, empowered, and self-made, that's the kiss of death. Suddenly, every achievement looks suspicious. Every milestone feels tainted. Did she earn it or was it gifted? That's the question the Yacht Girl tag whispers behind every photo op, every speech, every headline. And the contradiction is brutal. Meghan's brand has always been empowerment, breaking barriers, refusing to be boxed in. But the Yacht Girl narrative ties her to the most reductive box of all, the pretty face who charmed her way through doors. It undermines everything she's built. Worse, Stewart's roast dragged this dark, unspoken Hollywood code into the light, attaching Meghan's name to it forever. Once something like that leaves the shadows, no PR team in the world can drag it back. Behind the scenes, her team went into overdrive. Crisis meetings, frantic emails, their usual playbook, glossy interviews, glowing features, strategic leaks fell flat. Because here's the reality, you can't fight a joke people are already laughing at. Push back, and you just make it trend harder. Ignore it, and it still lingers. Meghan was stuck in the ultimate lose-lose. And Meghan herself? Furious. Reports say she accused Stewart of a personal attack, of assassinating her character. But outrage doesn't cancel humor. Once the crowd laughs, the sting is permanent. Even her die-hard defenders struggled. Their rebuttals only amplified the very rumors they were trying to bury. Her nightmare only deepened with Harry's silence. Back in the early days, Harry would have gone to war for her, issuing palace statements, threatening legal action, scolding the press. Now, not a word, not a whisper. For someone who once vowed to shield Meghan from the world, his silence cut like a knife. Insiders say Harry is squirming privately. Because here's the catch. If he defends her too loudly, he risks making the Yacht Girl rumors even bigger. Damned if he speaks, damned if he doesn't. So instead, he hides. Staged photo ops, forced smiles, nothing more. And Meghan, reportedly livid, furious that her husband isn't leaping to her defense while she's being roasted alive. And this is where it gets vicious. Because comedy isn't like a news article. News can be challenged, corrected, spun, but a joke takes on a life of its own. It gets replayed, remixed, shared endlessly. You can't litigate it, you can't erase it, and that's Meghan's trap. If she stays silent, it looks like confirmation. If she speaks, she validates the joke. Either way, she loses. And the internet? Relentless. TikTok edits splicing old yacht footage with her feminist speeches, Twitter hashtags firing off biting one-liners, Instagram memes reframing her entire identity. Once the collective imagination takes hold, there's no stopping it. Even Hollywood insiders quietly smirked. For years, Meghan tried to rebrand herself as a power player. Netflix deals, podcasts, endless PR moves. But Stewart's joke cut through the glossy packaging. Producers, executives, publicists who had long doubted her suddenly felt vindicated. The Whisper Network had gone public. And in Hollywood, once you're reduced to a punchline, people don't take you seriously again. Because in this industry, credibility is currency. And Meghan's just got devalued overnight. So here's the devastating reality. The Yacht Girl rumor has crossed the line. It's no longer a fringe whisper, no longer tabloid trash. Stewart gave it a mainstream stage, and now it lives on as a cultural tagline. Every future red carpet, every speech, every glossy interview, it'll all be shadowed by that joke, those memes, that label. Because once the public laughs at you, that laughter follows you everywhere. Meghan once tried to control her narrative, but Stewart rewrote it with one brutal punchline, from Duchess of Sussex to Yacht Girl Duchess. And that, darling, is a stain her team may never be able to scrub clean. Be able to scrub clean.